Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's episode, we're continuing our ongoing coverage of the conflict that is taking place inside of the Middle East. Now, it tends to be a little bit difficult on YouTube at times to say specific names. As we all know, unfortunately, YouTube is a censorship machine. I say that again, a censorship machine. Simple words will get you demonetized, or your content will simply be blocked to the viewership. And again, all we are talking about is what is being reported with sometimes a different perspective by the mainstream media. Now, today we are starting our little journey, our satellite imagery journey, south of Tehran, just to the north of the Iranian city of Qom. Now, you've heard a lot about the uranium enrichment site that supposedly the U.S. is contemplating an attack on. Now, supposedly, the United States has the capability to penetrate this uranium enrichment site and possibly destroy it with our large bunker-busting bombs that would be launched from a B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. Now, this is the site in question. It is under a mountain. Now, again, could the United States destroy this complex? Sure, if we used a tactical nuclear device, a ground-penetrating tactical nuclear bomb would more likely than not destroy this facility. Now, would a conventional bomb, would a 30,000-pound conventional bomb destroy this facility? And the short answer is we're not sure. We believe the United States could destroy the access tunnels to the site. You can see them here. You can see them here. If you go over further to the southwest, you can see more entrance tunnels here and here. So 4 exposed entrance tunnels that operate or give access to this much larger facility that is under this entirety of the mountain. And this is, this is what we're seeing with Google Earth, essentially. So again, the U.S. could probably block these tunnels through the use of conventional explosives or conventional weapon systems. Problem is, would it destroy what's underneath the mountain? And the short answer is probably not. The Iranians have tunneling equipment in these mountains, so essentially they can definitely get themselves out of the mountains. They could reopen the facility. There are probably areas in this mountainous terrain that are very well camouflaged that could also give individual personnel an ability to get out of this facility. But the actual ability to penetrate this mountain base and destroy what's underneath the mountain would have to be done by, in all probability, tactical nuclear weapons. Now, there's a lot of talk about this one base, but you have to understand there are many, many such facilities throughout Iran. I want to take you just to the west of that uranium enrichment site and show you, the viewer, another area. And again, this would be classified as a very target-rich environment, and we're going to zoom in. Do you see yet? Yeah, there you go. Bunkers, munition bunkers. These are munition bunkers, or they could be used for ballistic missiles. Who knows specifically what these bunkers are used for? But you can see just the scope and scale of just how many are at this one site, and it's significant. Let's just kind of zoom in a little closer. Obviously, you can see the cement pad there, the concrete pad, and then the bunker itself. And there are literally hundreds of these at this one site. It's a massive site. And this is just one site among many. And you go further to the south, hundreds upon hundreds of these bunkers. Now I can tell you a sortie of Israeli F-35s. I mean, you can do the math. How many would it take to destroy hundreds upon hundreds of these bunkers? Quite a lot. Quite a lot. It's just massive. And it just goes on and on and on. And again, this is just one site. This is just one facility. And you can see, if you go to this area, if you want to find it yourself, simply go Google Earth. You can use the city of Quam as your base point, and just go to the north, and you will see it. Just hundreds of these bunkers. And again, this is but one site. And different larger bunkers here. And this whole series of mountains, we'd probably call them hogbacks where I'm from, but nothing but bunkers. Miles of bunkers, hundreds of them. And again, one site right here. And this is this, again, over just to the east is the site that is always being talked about in terms of the possibility of a U.S. strike. But again, these are just two sites, and if you pull back and you look at Iran as a country, 80-90 million people, most of the country is made up of these mountains. There's forested mountains to the north along the Caspian Sea. A very large country. So again, any idea that you're going to completely degrade certain Iranian capabilities, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. Again, this is going to be a very protracted operation by the Israelis, and quite possibly eventually the United States, to attack some of these facilities. And again, just the size and the scope of this one facility based to the north of Quam, you can get an idea of just how a challenging military operation this is going to be. And again, and we have not yet observed the Iranians attempt to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. That is kind of their trump card, pardon the pun, but that would be something I would think that if the U.S. Becomes glaringly apparently involved, meaning that the U.S. confirms that they're striking some of these facilities with B-2, B-52, B-1 bombers, what have you, then the likelihood, the next step in the escalation process would be the Iranians threatening mercantile oil traffic around the Strait of Hormuz. How would the Iranians do this, you may ask? Well, cruise missiles. The U.S. would have the ability to protect its ships. However, protecting the large oil tankers that are transiting the Persian Gulf and then going up and around the Strait of Hormuz, this area would be the Iranian kill box for cruise missiles attacking those shipping lanes. And that would almost immediately cause a massive spike in the price of oil. Now, who would benefit the most out of a massive increase in the price of oil? Who do you think that would be? You think the United States would benefit? You think maybe the Russians would benefit? And the answer to that is most likely yes. Most likely yes. Again, price of oil goes up, oil-producing countries make more money. And inherently, if the Iranians attempt to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and the war escalates, then obviously those nation states would indeed see their profits increase. But again, just based off those few Google Earth images that we just went through, really shows you the size and scope of the military infrastructure that exists inside of Iran. It is by no means small, very large, and very protected. Again, whereas Iraq is essentially a very flat nation state, Iran is a very hilly, mountainous nation state that uses those mountains to protect its military capability. And that, in all probability, right now is why the Israelis are asking behind the scenes for the United States to directly get involved. Most likely that has already occurred to some extent. But again, where we go next within the next week or two, it's difficult to say. My guess is the Iranians know that the only real way to get after some of these sites would be through U.S. military technology. Now, if that becomes apparent and the United States gets itself involved in this war, the Iranians could then say, well, look, the United States is attacking us, so therefore we are going to use our strategic game changer and we are going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. We are going to go after oil tankers until the United States quits attacking us. And then again, price of oil goes up. But that's kind of where we're at. Has the Iranian counterattack against the Israelis, has it been thus far very effective? Well, probably not as effective as Iran originally believed those strikes were going to be. Now, at the same time, those strikes are starting to take a toll on the Israeli defensive capability in terms of air defense. And the real question is as this war continues, will more and more Iranian ballistic missiles get through and be able to strike more targets inside of Israel? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know yet. But that is where this war is heading. At the same time, Iran is starting to use new missile systems that they were developing, that they are now fielding. New, larger, faster ballistic missiles that in some cases may be getting through. Now, the Iranians have reportedly that they have shot down 4 or 5 F-35 Lightning IIs. That has not been verified. The images that are floating around on the internet are not factual images. They're not real. So thus far, there's been no evidence that one Israeli aircraft outside of a drone has been shot down by Iranian air defense systems. We haven't seen it. There's no evidence of that. None at all. So that's kind of where we sit right now. Again, we're watching this very closely, but again, the size and scope of the Iranian military and how it has positioned itself and protected some of its military assets are very impressive. Now, they have not done a very good job of protecting its higher command personnel. It looks like the Israelis have had some success at going after high-ranking Iranian military leaders. And I imagine that has been a surprise for Iran thus far. So again, the war will continue, and we will continue to cover. Feel free, go check out some of those images. There are hundreds of sites just like the ones I've showed you scattered throughout Iran. And maybe you can find something that no one else has found. Feel free to comment in the comment section. More to come very, very soon. As always, thanks for joining us. Good day.